Hello everyone, and welcome to this month's episode of What's for Dinner. Today I'm going to be making the original Panda Express orange chicken recipe. Let's get cooking. So some of you may not be aware, but Panda Express actually is the creator of orange chicken. I only realized this a couple of years ago. I thought it was just something that had been around for many, many years. Well, Panda Express started as an actual sit-down kind of luxury Chinese restaurant that expanded into the fast food Chinese restaurants that we know today. You can still go to the original sit-down restaurant. I think it's somewhere out in California. It might even be Los Angeles. Anyway, so let's get into this. So I have about 2 pounds of chicken thighs that I've cut up into what are attempts at cubes. We're going to be putting this into this batter here in a little bit, but for now we're just going to set this off to the side, and we're going to make our batter that we're going to soak these in for about a half hour. So we first want to start with a tablespoon of salt, quite a bit of salt. Then you want a teaspoon of pepper. The recipe says to use white pepper. I don't have white pepper, so we're just going to use the old regular black pepper. And then you want 1 cup of cornstarch, followed by 3 cups of all-purpose flour. And you just want to whisk these ingredients together. Once you have combined your dry ingredients, you're going to add in 1 egg. And then as you whisk, you want to add in 1.5 cups of water. You are looking to get this to the consistency of a thick pancake batter, a thick-ish, thinnish pancake batter. This is definitely not thin, that's for sure. What on earth? This is not the consistency we're supposed to have. Alright, well I'm going to have to add some more water. This is supposed to be very runny, and this is more of a dough. Here goes another cup of water. Maybe this will thin it out. Okay, there we go. Now it's starting to break up a little bit. Okay, we got a much better consistency now. I don't know if the recipe I'm looking at was wrong, but it only told me 1.5 cups of water. Alright, so I did end up adding just a little bit more water to thin it out a little bit. There's still some massive chunks of stuff at the bottom of this. Now we're going to add in 2 tablespoons of oil. Just going to use regular olive oil. We'll whisk that in. And then what you're going to do, once your oil is mixed in, you're going to get your chunks of chicken thigh, you're going to put it in here, and you're going to let it sit in the fridge for about half an hour. We're going to get our chicken here. Just going to dump that in. Be sure to mix it around and get it all nice and coated in the batter. Alright, so once you got your chicken coated, I'm going to put some plastic wrap over this, then I'm going to put it in the fridge for about half an hour, then we're going to take it out and we're going to deep fry. Alright, so it's been about half an hour. I have 6 cups of corn oil that is just about at 350 degrees, heating on the stove here. I have our marinated chicken in the bowl over here ready to go. We're going to work in batches as we fry these. So you want to do about 20 to 25 pieces of chicken at a time. This is a smaller container, not like some of the larger ones that you've seen. So I might only be able to get 15 in here. Also, I made my piece of chicken a little bit bigger than what the recipe said to do, so hopefully this will cook them a little bit quicker. Alright, we are right at 350 degrees. You want to put these in, again as I said, you want to work in batches. I have a paper towel lined plate right here. Once they're done, about 5 to 6 minutes, we'll take them out, put them on the paper towel to let them dry out. They might look a little bit lighter when you take them out, which is fine. They will get darker as they cool off. Alright, so being very careful. pieces got stuck together. I've lost count. I think that was 8, 9, 10. I don't know if those are the right numbers. All right, I'm going to stop right there. I don't exactly know how many that was, but I think it's just enough. I think I might have made one giant piece of chicken. I think these got kind of smushed together when I put these in here. I'm trying to break this off. Yeah, I made one giant thing of chicken here. I'm going to have to be careful when I do this next one. Look at another 3-ish minutes. It's working. It's just, I think I put these in a bit too close together, and they're all stuck in this one giant piece here. About another 2 minutes. They look like little dumplings, which is exactly what you want, by the way. So I know this is working. All right, anywhere in here, I'm ready to go. All right, let's go ahead. So it's been about 6 minutes or so that these have been going. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and take them out. Now they look pretty light, but as I said, as they cool off, they're going to darken up. Some of these pieces are really big. Yeah, here's the big monster right here that I did. I don't know how I did this. All right, I'm going to have to break this one apart. How on earth did I do that? All right, so we're just going to set this over here. I'm going to take this over here. And I'm going to do my next batch off camera. I'll be back when it's time to make the orange sauce. Okay, well that was an adventure. Yeah, don't try to break apart chicken in hot oil. It splashes all over the place. Anyway, so I've cleaned up a lot now, and now I've reset so that we can make the orange sauce. So I have a heavy coated cast iron pan here heating, a tablespoon of oil. I am going to add a 1/4 teaspoon of red pepper flakes, a tablespoon of minced garlic, and then a 1/2 teaspoon of minced ginger, which I have in this paste form right here. Alrighty, alright, so I'm just gonna eyeball it with the red pepper, that is. And you want to stir this constantly. A tablespoon of minced garlic, and then you want a 1/2 teaspoon of this minced ginger. I'm just gonna give it a little more, right like that, okay. And you want to stir this constantly for about 30 seconds. All right, then you want to add a 1/4 cup each of regular old white sugar and a 1/4 cup of brown sugar. Maybe? Come on. Where are you not going out? Come on, brown sugar. There you go. All right, once you've combined your sugars, you want to add in a 1/4 cup of orange juice, and then you want to allow the sugars to dissolve within that liquid. 1/4 cup of orange juice. This doesn't have 1/4 cup on it. Well, we'll go right there. This only goes up to 1/2 cup. Doesn't seem like much. Once you have allowed your sugars to dissolve within that juice, you're going to add in another 1/4 cup of white distilled vinegar and then 2 tablespoons of soy sauce. Vinegar first. 1/4 cup of white vinegar. And then 2 tablespoons of soy sauce. You want to stir those in, and then you're going to add in another batch of cornstarch and water, but you want to mix the cornstarch and water together first, and then slowly add that into your sauce here. You're looking for the consistency of maple syrup by the time this is all said and done. Alright, so you want 2 tablespoons of cornstarch and 2 tablespoons of water mixed together, and then you're going to slowly add that in to the rest of your mixture here. So, about 1 and about 2. And then just in spoonfuls, we're going to add this and stir it in. All right, so once this thickens up, we're then going to take the chicken, which is sitting off camera over here, and we're just going to put it in, zhuzh it around, and then we'll be ready to eat. All right, I have 1 plate of my chicken right here. This sauce is nice and thick. We're just going to dump this chicken right in. If I were a real chef, I would just pick this thing up and toss it all over the place. However, I'm not that great at that, so we're just going to coat it like this. I have a whole other plate over here that I might have to make another thing of sauce for. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? This pan has a lid. Put the lid on. I'm going to take my mitts here. I'm going to hold this down, and I'm going to shake it. Back down. Oh yeah, I think that worked. Then it says to top with sesame oil. I could not find not expensive sesame oil, so I have some sesame seeds. Just sprinkle some of those on top. Now let's plate it up and try it. Now I realize aesthetically this looks not great, but I'm not about aesthetics, I'm about taste, so let's try it. Okay. All right, yeah, that's really good, wow. For how messy this was, almost igniting the kitchen on fire. Not really, I didn't do that. No, I wish it was aesthetically better. Why is it that the recipes that make the biggest messes are the ones that end up tasting so good? I don't think you'll ever know. Well, thank you all for watching this episode of What's for Dinner. If you have any recipes you would like me to make on camera, leave them below in comments and I'll check them out. Until next time, take care, God bless, and I'll see you all later. I don't understand. Why does this happen every time? Every time I make a huge mess, almost set something on fire. I didn't really do that. I did make a mess of the oil, not on camera, but